Hello everyone, it is that time of the month. It is time for the next month's TBR video. So I am going to do a little research to find readathons that are taking place in November. I think there's a Clear Your Shit taking place in November if I remember correctly. Other than that, I don't really know. So I'm going to look into that a little bit. As far as October goes, that's just out the window. There was a whole week that I was sick. Not sick enough to not work, like my actual 9-to-5 type job, but sick enough that during quiet times I just scrolled through Instagram and YouTube. Didn't feel like reading. That's like a whole week shot. Molly and Polly are knocking stuff over like crazy today. Today as of filming this, it is October 25th. And so pretty much any readathons and my own October TBR are out the window because I also had my dad's mom, so my grandma, my dad's mom, she passed away this month. Thank you to everyone. I did post about it on the community page. Thank you to everyone for your condolences on that. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So dealing with that, going to Vernal, Utah to try to see her before she passed, and then she passed like a day and a half after I saw her. And then her funeral, and so just kind of like the grief, just did not feel like reading. So that's 2 weeks gone. So at this point, my whole October reading is of what I had planned. It's in the garbage. So, and you know what? That's life. That's why I say there's no punishments for never finishing a TBR. You never know what's going to happen with life. You can plan the best you can, but honestly, you just never really know what's going to happen. So, I'm just going to kind of mood read off of the books that I did pick for October. I'll still pick from those, but I don't know what I'll read. I started last night, Get a Life, Chloe Brown, so this is a reread for me. All I read was the prologue so far. So what, like 3 pages is all I'm into it. Something like that. So I'm going to read that. I don't know how long it'll take me to read it. Hopefully not that long. Still have a week of the month of October. Well, technically less than a week. So, you know, it is what it is. So I won't be doing any reading wrap-ups in November for anything in October just because it's garbage. So let's go ahead and pick the TBR board. So I have 6 boards to choose from. I have the 4 seasonal boards, I have the challenge board, and I have my original board. So that's 6 TBR boards. I'm gonna do a dice roll and then we'll figure out which board I will be starting with. If I start with the challenge board, which is number this one, which is number 6, and then if I get a double, usually I would switch a board, but if I'm on the challenge board and this is the one I start with, then I'm just gonna stay on the challenge board. Yeah, so let's go ahead and delve in. There are 2 books that I would like to prioritize in the month of November, and one, I believe it is the Bookstara, I think November is the month for As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson, which is the 3rd and final book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. So I do want to get this on there. And then the other book I really want to get on there is the November selection for Autism Reads. November is a young adult book, and this one is Something More by Kahlilieh, I'm guessing is how that is said. Could be way wrong on that, but this is the selection for Autism Reads. The link for the Discord for Autism Reads is always in the description box of all of my regular videos, so I don't worry about putting it. If I do any shorts, I don't worry about it. Just, yeah, they're in the standard video. The link is in that. So, yeah. So those are the 2 books I definitely want to get on. Outside of that, we'll just see what the prompts go, and hopefully I can get these 2 books on for some of the prompts. So let's go ahead and get the boards set up and do the dice roll to see which board I will be starting with. Oh, and the other thing too is I still want to do a winter TBR, so books that I want to do for winter, so December, January, and February. Seeing as November's the last month of the fall, that TBR is also out the window with everything that's been going on, so I have since taken out all of the books from my November TBR and October TBR, all these color cards, and I'm just going to put them back in, and we're just going to basically start fresh. So yeah, I hope your reading's been going better than mine has. But hey, if you're reading, and that's great. So let's go ahead and get into this now. Also, as a reminder, I start out with 5 rolls and just go from there. So we're gonna go ahead and switch from this pink one. All right, so looks like it's a purpley color this time. And I have new dice. So now I will still keep these just in case, but I now have these dice. I have a blue, pink, white, and a purple. And these are cat dice. And so like on this blue one, there's a shape of a cat with a number. So this one is number 4, number 5, etc. And then this part is just paw prints. So yeah, I think, you know what, let's go with purple dice, and I'm just gonna go with the paw prints, that way I can visually see and not mess up if I, just in case I get a double. So, but we'll use this cat one to determine which board I get. So, all right. Now let me zoom you in so that you can see better. There we go. Okay. Which board? Okay, so that's a number 4. Okay. So now we'll switch that out, and we're just going to go with the paw print dice to determine what spot. So I'm going to move all these dice out of the way. Okay, so number 4. So challenge board was number 6, but I will keep that one off to the side. This one was the spring board, and that is number 4. So this is the board that we are starting with. Zoom out, not in. This is the board that we will be starting with for this round as my springboard. Okay, so I'm gonna get these ones out of the way. Okay, first things first is I need to get a random number generator. And I have 30 spots on this board. So, as you can see right now, it is 1 through 10, and it has the number 1 there. So I'm gonna erase 10 and put 30. And now we'll generate where I will start. Starting on space number 15. Okay, space number 15 is right there. Okay, let's go ahead and get in with roll number 1. So I have a 6 and a 1, so I'm moving 7 spots. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Easter. All right, let's get these cards out. Oh, alrighty. So, prompt number 1, as you saw, was Easter. So, Easter is a book that has nature on the cover. I don't care if it's one flower, if it's a part of nature and can be found in nature, it counts, whether it's an animal or whatever. So I'm going with leaves on this one. I'm going to get on the Autism Reads book while I can. So as you can see, there's obviously a tree. You can't see the trunk of the tree, but leaves are attached to the trees, so leaves are in nature. So I'm counting this one. Something More by Kahlilieh. Yeah, so this is a selection for November's Autism Reads. Link, again, always in the Discord. Or the Discord link is always in the description box. That's how I meant to say that. 15-year-old Jessie, a quirky loner obsessed with the 90s, is diagnosed as autistic just weeks before starting high school. Determined to make a fresh start and keep her diagnosis a secret, Jessie creates a list of goals that range from acquiring 2 distinct eyebrows to getting a magical first kiss and landing a spot in the school play. Within the halls of Trinity High, she finds a world where things are no longer black and white and quickly learns that living in color is much more fun. But Jessie gets more than she bargained for when 2 very different boys steal her heart, forcing her to go off script. Okay, so this is my selection for Easter. Now, we need to find a color and hope that this color is on the cover. So, shuffling these up a little bit. It's a little more difficult now that it's full again. All right, good enough. Okay, there is no purple on this cover. So, yeah, there's no purple. That's blue. And streaks of yellow and red on her skirt, which is also a blue. Yeah, so there is no purple. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with this. Okay, moving on for prompt number 2. Okay, a 6 and a 4, if I can pick the dice up. A 6 and a 4. So there you go. Okay, so moving 10 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Roar. Prompt number 2 is Roar. This is a book that has a predatory animal. So as long as it is not the lowest animal on the food chain, it counts. So for this one, I'm going with a cat. Cats are a predatory animal. They eat spiders, they eat moths, they eat flies, they eat mice and rats and pretty much whatever else they can catch. So I'm going with this one. So it's cat on the cover, Bait and Witch by Angela M. Sanders. This one says, librarian Josie Way moved to small town Oregon to lay low. Instead, thanks to newfound magic abilities and a killer on the loose, she's leapt out of the frying pan and into a cauldron of trouble. Josie Way loved working among the Library of Congress's leather-scented stacks until she uncovered corruption and made herself a target. As Wilfred, Oregon's new librarian, Josie can stay undercover until the case goes to court. But life in this little town isn't as subdued as she expected. The library, housed in a Victorian mansion, is slated to be bulldozed. Still digesting the news that her safe haven is about to become scrap lumber, Josie discovers a body in the woods. I like just seeing the cats jump over each other. Molly and Polly just shoo, shoo, shoo. Okay, continuing on, it says, almost as shocking. Josie learns that she's descended from a long line of witches, and her powers have suddenly sprung to life. With help from a spoiled alley cat who just may be her familiar, Josie's thumbing through a catalog of suspects, hoping she can conjure a way to save her library and her life. So, the color, bright violet. So this is the one that I drew for the something more, which there's no purple on there, but bright violet will work for this one. And this is number 193438. At least I think it works. Especially, there's a lot of purples on here, and especially like the background of the books definitely looks like that to me. There's a silhouette there. There's a lot of shades of purple, and it looks like it's in there in a couple of different spots. So Bait and Witch will go with the bright violet one. Now I still need to draw another card, and then let's see if it'll actually work for something more. So okay, that's enough shuffling. I'm going to drop them all. Black Iris. This might work. I'm going to say yes. So I don't know if his shoelaces are black or if they're more like this color, like a blue, because there's a lot of blues, and so I could see it in the shading of her skirt, his tie, maybe the shading of her socks and her shoes, definitely in the shading where the shade hits the blue socks. So I'm going to say that counts. So Black Iris number 193921 works for something more. Oh, this is working out great. Prompt number 3. Oop, dropped one. Okay, so we do have a double. So I'm ending on spot number 2. So as you can see, I've got 2 4s, so we'll be moving 8. And we're switching to the challenge board. So I ended on Roar, which is space number 2. All right, here is the challenge board. Space number 2 is right here. We don't worry about that one, which is tails. We don't worry about that one. And from here, we move the amount of dice, so 8 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, YouTube. Prompt number 3, YouTube. So this is my jar of YouTubers that have played or play on occasion a TBR game. So we're going to draw someone, and then I'm going to find their most recent TBR video. Some have added additional games. I know there's 2 that play 2 different games, and I just haven't adjusted. Like there's one I know that's in here who did a TBR game, like a TBR tarot game. But she now has another one, so I'm just going to go with her most recent one if I happen to draw her. So let's see who I get. We're going to go with this one. I'm going to set the jar down so I can open this. And we are going with Whitney from Tibbura's Den, Once Upon a TBR Jar Honey. This will be fun. Now, she does do a lot of pulls, so we'll see. So my stack is going to get quite big. But I love Whitney's game. It is so cute and so fun to watch. I'm always excited when her game comes out. So Whitney from Tibbura's Den. I will link Whitney's channel in the description box. Please, please, please go check it out. And we'll go from there. So, yeah. And she's going back in here so that she can come up again, possibly in the future. Now, let's check and see when her most, let's see. Let's see when her most recent TBR game was. So I'm scrolling down. Tibbura's Den. Okay, it'll be her October TBR. It is called Once Upon a TBR Honey Jar, and this is round 20. So I'm going to watch her video, write down the prompts, and then I'll pick the books. We'll come back, and I'll tell you what books I picked for her prompts. And I will link not only her channel, but the video that this portion will be based upon. And then we'll also pick the cards to see if I can get those to the books that I picked for her prompts. Alrighty, I have watched Whitney's video. I've got a couple of punishments to do by myself because I can't fulfill some of her prompts. So let's just see how we did. So first off, Whitney, this is based off of Winnie the Pooh. And Whitney rolls a dice to determine which character she's going to play with, and then you have a prompt to fulfill the character prompt. And the one that she rolled ended up with playing as Kanga and Roo. And the prompt to fulfill for Kanga and Roo is to read either a manga, a graphic novel, or a children's book. And I'm going with a graphic novel. I'm going to go with Adulthood is a Myth. Scratch that. It's a Gift. This is by Sarah Anderson. This is a non-fiction graphic novel that kind of pokes fun at expectations versus reality type of a thing. So, and this is the most recent. I hope there's going to be more in this. This is number 5 or 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is number 5. I had to look because I've got them all on my nonfiction shelf. I had them with my other graphic novels, but I'm like, this is nonfiction. So, yeah, so this is number 5. Hopefully there will be more, but I don't know. But this is the most recent. And so I'm definitely excited. I can easily do this within an hour, 2 at the most, in one sitting type of a thing. So I'm really excited for this one. And this one actually has some stickers at the back. So maybe I'll use those. Who knows? But yeah, so Adulthood is a Myth by Sarah Anderson. Now let's draw and see about a card. Whoop, color card. I don't even have them all. Hang on. Dropped one and I have to grab the rest. Okay, here's the stack. I found some that I forgot to place back in, so now the stack's even bigger. Okay, I've got to refresh my screen over here. Okay, we're good. And I'm just going to take this one because, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's definitely not on there. Okay, so we'll stick this one to the side, and hopefully something else will come up that will hopefully... I mean, I can only do 3 different colors on this one, so I'm very limited, but okay, so I'm going to set this one off to the side over here until we've gone through all of the colors. Okay, prompt number 2 she pulls these colored discs and they go with genres. And so she pulled an orange, and that is to read a mystery, a thriller, or a horror, but there's also a prompt that needs to be fulfilled with that. and that is a BookTube TBR. So you just go off of someone on BookTube on their TBR, and I'm actually going to go with a book off of Whitney's October TBR game. It's a TBR. So, and I'm going with this one because I actually have this book, and it was like right on my stack of books I eventually want to get to, and that's Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates. So I'm doing this one. When Krista joins a tour group heading deep into the Rocky Mountains, she's hopeful this will be her chance to put the ghosts of her past to rest. But when a bitterly cold snowstorm sweeps the region, the small group is forced to take shelter in an abandoned hunting cabin. Despite the uncomfortably claustrophobic quarters and rapidly dropping temperature, Krista believes they will be safe as they wait out the storm. She couldn't be more wrong. Deep in the night, the tour guide goes missing, only to be discovered the following morning. His severed head, impaled on a tree outside the cabin. Terrified and completely isolated by the storm, Krista finds herself trapped with 8 total strangers. One of them kills for sport, and they're far from finished. As the storm grows more dangerous and the number of survivals dwindles one by one, Krista must decide whom she can trust before this frozen mountain becomes her tomb. Okay, well, this color is definitely not on that cover, so we got to draw a card anyway. So, and I'm limited with colors on this one. I think just this one final shuffle, because I'm just going to be dropping these all over the place. Let's just go with this one, and this is not on the cover, and nor is it on the cover of Adulthood is a Gift, so set that one to the side. Okay, next up, green, and this is one, spoiler, I am going to inflict my own punishment on this one. So this is 3 to fantasy. That part is fine. The prompt that she got was gender swap. I went through everything that I owned that I could think of with, because I only give myself a certain amount of time, just because if I go past a certain amount of time, then my back pain really gets bad. So I limit how long I have to search for a book. I could not find a book that fulfills the prompt of gender swap that is a fantasy. I could have missed one, so because of that, I am going to say I have to read 2 fantasies. So now before I show you which 2 fantasies I picked, because it's one prompt, I'm only going to draw 1 color. And let's go with this one. Pirate Black. Oh, I can use this one something. Okay. And I'm only going to draw 1. So I'm going to slot this one with Adulthood is a Myth, because it's black cat, it's black color. So I'm going to go for it with that one. All right. Now I can move this book onto my stack. Okay, so fantasy. I have 2 books here. Okay, so my first pick, again, I couldn't do the gender swap thing, so I'm going with 2 different fantasies. I'm going to go with A Time of Courage by Gwynne. Yes, I know this is a chunker, but I've really been wanting to get to this, and I keep putting it on my TBR, and I keep running out of time. So hopefully I'm going to prioritize it for the month of November and get to this one. Now this is book number 3 in a Blood and Bone trilogy written by Gwynne. So in case you're caught up, otherwise just skip ahead until I'm no longer holding this book. The Demon King Asroth is free of his iron prison, and the whole of the banished lands stands on the brink of domination. With the Ben Elim broken and routed, half-breed Riv and a small band of comrades must try to find a way to strike the demon forces. Meanwhile, Drem is with the Order of the Bright Star on a desperate march south to join the battle. He fears what they will find along the way, even as he knows it is better to fight and fall than to live without hope. Okay, so this is my selection for the fantasy. Now, my punishment book, which I'm not going to worry about a color card fitting the punishment quote-unquote books. I really want to continue with the Harry Potter series, and this one, the only colors that would match would be gold for the foiling, and then the red. So I'm not going to worry about it. This one's book number 3, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So I'm going to go with that one, and that's my punishment. All right, now she got purple, and this is to read any genre, so I'm not confined to just a specific genre. And this is to read a fairy tale retelling. For this one, I'm going to go with Stolen Heir by Sophie Lark. This is a mafia retelling. It's a mafia romance, and this is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, which is a fairy tale, so this definitely works. Nessa Griffin leads a lonely life, too compassionate and gentle for the underworld business she grew up in. She fills no role in her family's mafia empire, struggling to prove herself both at home and in her highly competitive ballet corps. Mikolaj Wilk is the most vicious gangster in Chicago, and he's hell-bent on revenge. His adoptive father saved him from the streets of Warsaw, only to die at the hands of the Griffins. As part of his vengeance, Mikolaj abducts Nessa, holding her captive in his moldering Gothic mansion, and I could be saying his name wrong. She might not deserve to pay for her family's crimes, but in this world, the wolves eat the lambs, no matter how gentle and innocent they may be. But even as Mikolaj plots the destruction of everything the Griffins hold dear, he finds himself fixated on his captive, wanting this ballerina to dance only for him. Meanwhile, Nessa finds herself lost in the growing tension between her and her kidnapper, their twisted relationship building in new, terrifying ways. He is the beast to her beauty, but can Nessa find the man inside before he gives into his hunger? Okay, I was going to look, so for the punishment, back to this one. I am going to say that this is on here because of the flames. It's like in the middle of the fire of the flames surrounding the axe. So, all right, so down to one color. All right, so this one, will this one fit? No, it does not fit Stolen Heir that I can see. Actually, does it? No. Okay, no. All right, let's pick another color. So this will be the fourth. Hello, helps if I pick up all the colors. I need to find another color. So prompt number 4 is look like what we're on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and I've only drawn 3 colors. So calling this mixture good. Okay, going with this one, Citron. Okay, it is not on Dead of Winter. And it is not on Stolen Heir. So, okay. And let's see. All right, next up. The next color that Whitney drew was red, and this is a romance, and this is to read a book with disability rep. And I did find a book. I'm going to go with Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I don't know what disability rep. I just know that when I looked it up on Goodreads, it does say disability as one of the genre tags. So it says, I wanted to lose myself in the small town of Pellion, Maine, to forget everything I had left behind. The sound of rain, the blood, the coldness of a gun against my skin. For 6 months, each breath has been a reminder that I survived and my dad didn't. I'm almost safe again, but the moment I meet Archer Hale, my entire world tilts on axis. I almost said axis on its axis, and never rights itself again. Until I trespass into his strange, silent, and isolated world, Archer communicates with no one. Yet in his whiskey-colored eyes, something intangible happens between us. There's so much more to him than just his beauty, his presence, or the way his hands communicate with me, on me. But this town is mired in secrets and betrayals, and Archer is the explosive center of it all. So much passion and so much hurt, but it's in Archer's silence that we might just find what we need to heal and to live. So I'm not sure what the disability rep is. Kind of sounds like it might be deaf. I could be way wrong on that just because there's emphasis on his hands and communicating that way. So we will see. So I'm not sure exactly what the disability rep is, but Goodreads does say this has disability rep. And it is a romance. So let's go ahead and draw the other color card, and then I'll see if any of these colors will show up on Archer's Voice. Who knows? Okay. Another yellow. Okay, Aspen Gold. So let's look at, okay, Aspen Gold, definitely not on Dead of Winter. Definitely not on Stolen Heir. Okay. I do not see this one on Archer's Voice. And, okay, I am going to say that the Sauterine is, because you can see this little dandelion bud there, and it looks like it's in the seed there. So I'm going with that one for this. Okay. So Archer's Voice has a color card. So good there. All right. Okay, next up, Yellow. This is to read a book that is historical in nature. And the prompt is long book, so something that is over 500 pages. And I have to punish myself for this one. I looked in my allotted time that I gave myself at my historical fiction books. Nothing was over 500 pages. So I'm going to go with 2 historical fiction books. That'll then equal over the 500. But for the one prompt, I'm going to draw 1 color. And then I'll pick which one I have to try to fit a color on, and the other one just goes off to the side. So, one more shuffle here. And let's just go with this top one. 476. Okay, so real quick, let's see if it's on. It is not that I can see on that one. And not on Stolen Heir. So we'll see if that any of these 3 that we're down to is on the historical fiction. So I've picked 2 books from the same author, and I think the one I'm going to go with that has to fill the color is this one, which is The Traitor by V.S. Alexander. I've read 1 book by this author and absolutely loved it, so I'm looking forward to reading more from this author. This one says, in the summer of 1942, a war rages across Europe. A series of anonymous leaflets appears around the University of Munich, speaking out against escalating Nazi atrocities. The leaflets are hidden in public access or mailed to addresses selected at random from the phone book. Natalia Petrovich, a student knows who is behind the leaflets, a secret group called the White Rose, led by siblings Hans and Sophie Skoll and their friends. As a volunteer nurse on the Russian front, Natalia witnessed the horrors of war firsthand. She willingly enters the White Rose's circle, where every hushed conversation, every small act of dissent could mean imprisonment or death at the hands of an infuriated Gestapo. Natalia risks everything alongside her friends, hoping the power of words will encourage others to resist. But even among those she trusts most, there is no guarantee of safety, and when danger strikes, she must take an extraordinary gamble in her own personal struggle to survive. Okay, I'm going to see... Yeah, she's wearing a lot of brown, and so I am definitely saying that this 476 is on there. So, yay, I've got another one with a color card. Now, the one that will not fulfill any of the color cards, because I'm not doing the punishments that have to have a color card. The other historical I'm going to go with, also by V.S. Alexander, is The Irishman's Daughter. This one says, Ireland, 1845. To Brianna Walsh, no place on earth is more beautiful than Carrotage County, Mayo, with its sloping fields and rocky cliffs perched above the wild Atlantic. The small farms that surrounded the centuries-old Lear house are managed by her father against the wealthy, reckless Sir Thomas Blakely. Tenant farmers sell the oats and rye they grow to pay rent to Sir Thomas, surviving on the potatoes that flourish in the remaining scraps of land. But when the potato crop falls prey to a devastating blight of families, Brianna has known all her life are left with no food, no resources, and no mercy from the English landowner, who seems indifferent to everything except profit. Rory Caulfield, the hard-working young farmer Brianna hopes to marry, shares the locals' despair and their anger. There's talk of violent reprisals against the callous gentry and their agents. Brianna's studious older sister, Lucinda, dreams of a future far beyond Mayo. And even as hunger and disease settle over the country, killing and displacing millions, Brianna knows she must find a way to guide her family through one of Ireland's darkest hours, toward hope, love, and a new beginning. As I'm sure you have noticed by now, I'm not stacking these there, at least because I'm writing down in my notebook my prompts, and so I want to stack them in ascending order or whatever it is. And because I have yet to still fulfill the color for that one, it's just not going on there yet. So eventually it'll go on there whether it gets a color card or not. Okay, next up was another purple card, and this is Henry Genre, and this is, the prompt is number 7 rep. So however you can get that to be represented in the book is how it's going to be fit. I went through all of my books, and the only book I could find that fits that is over 600 pages. So the actual story is 670. 74. And as you probably saw, it's a George R.R. Martin. So, Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. He is the, let's see, here's the first volume. Okay, I don't want, okay, here we go. Long ago, in a time forgotten, a preternatural event threw the seasons out of balance. In a land where summers can last decades and winters a lifetime, trouble is brewing. The cold is returning, and the frozen waters to the north of Winterfell, sinister and supernatural forces are massing beyond the kingdom's protective wall. At the center of the conflict lie the Starks of Winterfell, a family as harsh and unyielding as the land they were born to. Sweeping from a land of brutal cold to a distant summertime kingdom of Epicurean plenty, here is a tale of lords and ladies, soldiers and sorcerers, assassins and bastards, who come together in a time of grim omens. Here is an enigmatic band of warriors. Here an enigmatic band of warriors bears swords of no human metal. A tribe of fierce wielding carries men off into madness. A cruel young dragon prince barters his sister to win back his throne, and a determined woman undertakes the most treacherous of journeys. Amid plots and counterplots, tragedy and betrayal, victory and terror, the fate of the Starks, their allies, and their enemies hangs perilously in the balance as each endeavors to win that deadliest of conflicts, the Game of Thrones. Okay, so I need to draw another color card. Okay. Alright, so, and then we still need to see, so I'm back up to 3 cards that will be for an option. And I don't think either of the 2 that I have remaining are on the Game of Thrones cover. Well, maybe. Here, let's go with this one. Oh, that's definitely not. Okay, so let's look at Dead of Winter. No. Too different. Stolen Heir. No. Too different. Okay. Okay, so Game of Thrones, this is definitely not on there. Is Citron? No. Aspen Gold? Okay, I was thinking maybe, but it is definitely more of a bronze gold and not a yellow gold on this, whatever crown is sitting there, so. Okay, so I'm up to 3 books that I'm probably going to have to add to my stack. And some of these are thick books. Again, no punishment for never not finishing my TBRs. Okay. All right, this next one, purple, any genre. Again, another punishment for me. So the prompt for this one was same book as Last Person. So the way that Whitney explained it is it's like how people would go to McDonald's or whatever restaurant and they would order the same thing as the person in front of them. So she bookified it and said that, like, basically when she goes to Barnes & Noble or some other bookstore, she would just ask a bookseller what the last book was that they sold to the last person. Well, from this point on, I'm not planning on going into a bookstore, so at least until January, so that's kind of off limits. So because of that, I'm just picking 2 random books off of my shelf. And these are not quite so random. These are books that were for one of the months for Autism Reads that I unfortunately ran out of time due to a slump or whatever the case was. So I do want to get to these. So I'm going with 2 books, but they obviously don't fit the prompt for same book as Last Person. So, but let's go ahead and draw a card before I show you the books. With this one, 152. Now let's look real quick. Okay, now that's 2 red in the title. There's nothing close to that on Stolen Heir, and no, it's red, not an orangey on Game of Thrones. Okay. All right. So we are going to go, the one that I'll use a color card for will be, if I can get one to fit, is Dark Apprentice by Val Neal. Really want to get to this one. Again, this was part of the Autism Reads selection for one of the months, just ran out of time. Nikolai doesn't want much out of life. sex, immortality, and the power to disembowel anyone who crosses him. But with dark magic forbidden, his only option is Medea, a mage so deadly even the enforcers give her a wide berth. Despite dire warnings that her apprentices don't survive, Nikolai won't stop until she agrees to train him. After all, he's a killer himself. Okay, got a call, so 9 from my place. When a mysterious illness strikes Nikolai down, he suspects he's found the secret to Medea's longevity. He resolves to find out what happened to her previous apprentices. If he can locate the source of her power, he can turn it against her. Medea swore off training dark wizards. None of them take the craft seriously, and the ungrateful bastards always try to kill her. This one definitely seems a backstabbing type, but magic is dying out, and she hasn't felt such magical strength in centuries. If she can control the boy, show him that magic is more than curses and necromancy, he might obtain the power he desires. If not, well, what's one more dead apprentice? Okay. So these 3 colors are definitely not on the cover, so set those back to the side. Is this... No, this one's too orange and the blood is too red on that one. Okay, so the additional book, again, it's a punishment one, is the other book that I haven't gotten to for Autism Reads, and this one is A Prayer for Vengeance by Leanne Schwartz. It says, centuries after a miracle vanquished Trestado's monsters and turned the soldiers fighting them to stone, Milo lovingly tends to the statues of those who protected the city. Raised with devout Templars and scholars, autistic Temple Ward Milo wants nothing more than to be accepted into their ranks. When his prayers admiring her heroic sacrifice accidentally free Gia from stone, she wakes with a fury to kill the man Milo owes his life to, Primo Saint Inio. Gia claims that the immortal holy leader Milo lives to serve is the same man who betrayed her and transformed her into a statue, and that what Milo always believed was a miracle was actually a curse that Gia will stop at nothing to break, even if she has to kill his followers to do it, even if she must kill the boy who woke her. So I'm setting this into the side because I will not use a TBR color card for that. Okay, moving on. All right, and the next prompt that she got was just an extra. So she drew a yellow, which is another historical, but she couldn't move. She was at the end of her game where she couldn't move that many spots, so it just means there's no prompt needed for this one. It's just a book that is going to be historical. So for this one, I'm going to go with Beyond the Point, and no, this one is not over 500 pages. This one is 493 pages, so I could not use it for the other one. But yeah, Beyond the Point by Claire Gibson. This has been sitting on my shelf for I don't know how long. This was obviously a book of the month, as you can tell from the corner, and this is from April 2019. So I really want to get this one read. Okay, Duty, Honor, Country. Every cadet who passes through West Point's stone gates vows to live by these words. On the eve of 9/11, as Danny, Hannah, and Avery face the years ahead, they realize they'll only survive if they do it together. With athletic talent and a brilliant mind, Danny navigates West Point's predominantly male environment with wit and confidence, breaking racial stereotypes and embracing new friends. Hannah lets faith and family honor guide her. When she meets her soulmate at West Point, the future looks perfect, just as planned. With child, Avery doesn't mind breaking a few rules and hearts along the way, but she can't outpace her self-doubt, and the harder she tries, the further it leads her down a treacherous path. After graduation, the world of business, of love, and of war awaits Danny, Hannah, and Avery beyond the gates of West Point. But as they're pulled in different directions, will their hard-forged bond prevail or shatter? So I need to draw a color card. And then we'll see if any of the color cards that I've drawn thus far will fit Beyond the Point. Okay, let's go with this one. Oh, that's not on there. Okay, yeah, that's not. Okay, I think the Citron might. Yes. Okay. So in the water, you can't really see it, but there's like a reflection of the sun and just the sun glancing off the water, and it does look like this color is on there. So I'm saying that this one counts for that. Okay, so this one has a color card. Yay. Now, the color I drew was Rust. And let's see if it's on any of these 4 books I have yet to get a color card for. Definitely not Undead of Winter. Not... Is it or is it? Okay, might be on Stolen Heir. Definitely not on Game of Thrones. And not on Dark Apprentice. Okay, I am going to say it is on Stolen Heir. So in her hair, it's right there. In that little strand that's falling, it looks spot on to me. Okay, I'm going to go with it. So, yay, I've got another book with a color card. Okay, and the very last card that Whitney drew was red. And this is... So usually going to be a romance, but because it's at the end, she made it to the very end. It's a special square, which means there is no genre required. You just try to fulfill the prompt. So the prompt was perseverance, just keep going. And so for this, I'm interpreting it to continue a series. The book that I've selected is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. So this is book number 3 in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So this will continue a series because I will persevere through this series. Okay, and I'm enjoying it. You'll never think of good girls the same way again. Pip is about to head to college, but she is still haunted by the way her last investigation ended. She's used to online death threats in the wake of her viral true crime podcast, but she can't help noticing an anonymous person who keeps asking her, who will look for you when you're the one who disappears? Soon the threats escalate, and Pip realizes that someone is following her in real life. When she starts to find connections between her stalker and a local serial killer caught 6 years ago, she wonders if maybe the wrong man is behind bars. Police refuse to act, so Pip has only one choice: find the suspect herself or be the next victim. As the deadly game plays out, Pip discovers that everything in her small town is coming full circle. And if she doesn't find the answers this time, she will be the one who disappears. Okay, need another color card. And then that's all the color cards that I'm drawing for Whitney's game. And look, I am going to have to add 4 more books as punishment. A lot of punishment books this round, which is fine. Again, there's no punishment for not finishing a TBR. This is just a stack of possibilities, and I just read kind of what I want to. So, yeah, out of this stack. Okay, we're going to go with this color. This is not on any of the books. I can tell you that right now. It's, yeah, not on any. So that's 5 additional books I am going to have to add. So, and especially because for As Good as Dead, so these 3 colors are not on there. So, all right, so I'm going to have to add 4 more color cards. And now I'm going to add these to the stack. So when you see me again, once I have found 4 books to fulfill these colors, all of these other books that you have seen throughout this point will finally be in that stack there. Okay, as you can see, there's my stack now. I'm going to have to start a stack in front of that stack, so, which is fine. Anyway, okay, so I found books that fulfill the color prompts. So for the Aspen Gold, I'm going to go with Jurassic Jackaroo by Roma Gray. Definitely in the yellow of the sun bursting through the trees there. Okay. This one says, how does the greatest gunslinger of the Old West end his career? By hunting a dinosaur animal spirit, of course. Carl Redgrave has big plans for his retirement party. He's bringing together the world's greatest criminals, murderers, warriors, and assassins to hunt something worthy of them all. A highly intelligent, 7-foot-tall dinosaur spirit known to the natives as the Grishla. Of course, Carl wants only the best on his safari, so he has pitted these men against each other in a deadly contest in an old ghost town, with 5 winners securing a place in the hunt. Who will survive? Who will win? And if they win, can they survive the final confrontation with the beast? All right, the next color card I had was Morning Mist, and I'm going with Damaged Goods by Talia Hibbert. It's looking like it's in the water, or at least where the water and the sky meet each other there. So that's what I'm going with. And this is book number 1.5 in a Ravenswood series. This one's a novella. Second chances shouldn't feel so sinful. Laura Byrne's husband is a monster, her diamond ring a trap, and her pregnancy is the push she needs to finally escape. She runs away seeking safety and finds Samir Bianchi, her long-lost teenage sweetheart. With his kind eyes and dirty smile, Samir's still hot as hell, and he still treats Laura like a goddess, baby bump and all. The wild boy she spent one magical summer with is every inch a man, and he's more than ready to care for her tiny family. But Laura's been keeping a secret Samir might never forgive. When she finally confesses, will he remain by her side, or is this fairy tale ending too good to be true? The next color card I have was this number 152, and I'm going with Burn For Me by Ilona Andrews. It's looking like it's in this flower there, so I'm going to go with that. Nevada Baylor runs a small-time detective agency in Houston, Texas, exposing cheaters and busting scammers. She's very good at her job, helped by a magical ability to sense when someone tells the truth or lies. But when she's forced to take a case, I almost said ceasefire. No, a case, to find an extremely violent fire mage, Nevada knows she's out of her league. To bring him to justice, she'll have to join forces with someone who wields an even more dangerous power. Connor Mad Rogan is a former combat mage, a telekinetic singularly responsible for ending a war, and a member of one of the most powerful magic families in the world. His nephew has been kidnapped by the fugitive pyromaniac, and Nevada is his best chance at finding them both. Bound by their mission, Nevada and Connor clash over their tactics and moral beliefs, even as things undeniably heat up between them. But the man they're chasing is involved in a darker conspiracy that threatens to destroy the city and destabilize the balance of power the elite magical families use to influence every nation on Earth. The last color card I did not get for Whitney's game is this Cactus Flower number 182326, and I think it matches this flower in the shading, and it's definitely hard to see there, but it does have a lighter edge to it there. Slash or pass. To the naked eye, it's not picking up on camera real well, so I do apologize for that, but it does look like it is there. It says, Slasher Pass is a male-female horror romance. If you like slasher horror, spicy romance, and little schmink in your books, you're going to enjoy this novel. The synopsis reads, when you get told to run, you get up and don't look back. We had one shot to get out of the sinister minister's grasp, and we took it, hand in hand. Kansas and I fled in the middle of the night, with a promise that we'd never tell a soul about what happened at that house and how Constantine died. Easley has spent the last decade looking over her shoulder while trying to forget the horrors the minister and the family inflicted upon her and others. However, something continues to call to her. In the deepest roots of her psyche, she can't escape the nightmares of her time trapped in the cult. All of her fears come to a head when she finds a letter taped to her door, informing her that a documentary is being made about the minister and the events that took place 10 years ago. When she politely declines, she can't help but wonder why they didn't fight her more to talk. It isn't until she turns on the TV that she sees they didn't need her to talk because they had someone else to captivate their audience. They found Constantine. He's alive. He remembers that we left him. All right, so did you remember that I ended up with a double on that roll? Which means it's a punishment. So instead of the 5 rolls, we are up to 6 rolls. And I have to add a punishment one. So, yeah. Okay, let's go with this one, I'm thinking. Read your prettiest special edition. Ooh, I know what I want to read for this one. Oh, shoot. I don't think it'll fit a color card. Okay, still need to get a color card for this one. And I'm going to have to add a book, I'm sure. Okay. All right, prettiest special edition. Let me grab it. Okay, so for my prettiest special edition, I'm going to go with this one. Look at that. Beautiful Betrayal by Lisa Renee Jones. Yeah. The minute I met Grayson Bennett, I was charmed. I had no idea he was the billionaire boss I just started working for. The minute I found out, I tried to pull back. I had reasons to need my job, and rather desperately, and I couldn't risk an affair with the boss destroying my career. I tried to stay away. I did. But our attraction was magnetic, and Grayson's a man who knows what he wants, and he doesn't stop until he wins his prize. I was that prize, and a willing prize at that. I fell in love, and hard. And how could I not? Grayson was nothing like what you'd expect of a man with insane amounts of money and power. He never made me feel like I was less than him. In fact, he made me feel as if I was everything to him. The reason he breathed, full stop. And he said I made him feel whole for the first time in his life. But something happened, and the world as I knew it shattered. My heart shattered. The man I loved and trusted hurt me in ways I didn't know were possible. I will never be the same. I will never be the same. And I'm going to end it there because now it's into the foiling and that's messing with my head and going to give me a headache. So this is my prettiest special edition, I think, or at least one of my prettiest ones. So that's what I'm going with there. Now I need to do a color card. As you can see, unless I draw a white or a black or a very specific blue, I'm going to have to add another book, which is fine. So let's just go with this one here. Oh yeah, okay. Almond, which is 16-1432. Let me go find a book that will fill this one. Okay, so I did find something that'll fit this, and it's a shorter book, thank goodness. Dirty Little Secret by Alexis Winter. I'm saying it's in his tan here, especially in the shading as it gets darker there, so I say it fits. Okay, A Billionaire Boss Romance. I'm the type of man that gets what I want. Hell, I didn't become a billionaire before 45 by playing by the rules, but then she waltzed into my life. Ren Adler, my head of PR and the star of every one of my dirty fantasies. She's driven, fiery, and more than 10 years younger than me. In other words, she's off effing limits. But when a psycho stalker starts to terrorize her and her narcissistic ex keeps making mysterious appearances in her life, the only way I could make sure she stays safe was to have her move in with me. So now I'm not just tortured at work, but every night as she permeates every inch of my life. I've been a saint for 3 years. I kept my hands off her curvaceous body and my filthy thoughts to myself until last night when she asked if I had any dirty little secrets, and my resolve finally snapped. I should have walked away. I shouldn't have tasted her. I shouldn't have let my hands roam. And I sure as hell shouldn't have told her to grab the headboard. Instead, I finally let myself indulge in the ultimate fantasy of pretending she's mine. Now she thinks that she's my dirty little secret. But the truth is, I'm not only lying to her, I'm lying to myself. I have to decide to take a chance on finally getting what I want or walking away forever. Okay. Going for prompt number 4, we now have 6 instead of the 5 because of that double. And it's another double, but we were staying on the challenge board. So now instead of 6 rolls, it is now 7. As you can see, I've got 2 5s. So moving 10 spots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Current read. Cute face. Okay, so that's the prompt that I landed on. Inspired by current read. So as of filming this video, I'm currently reading Get a Life, Chloe Brown. I'm going with romance, and this is a spicy romance. So I'm going with a spicy romance. Yeah. So that's what I'm going with. And there's a man on this cover. Granted, he's not a real man image, if that makes sense. I'm blanking on the word. Illustrated. That's the word. It's an illustrated man, but this one's not illustrated. So man on the cover, romance, and this is a spicy romance. And this one's a short one. So this is Kissing the Quarterback by Jacob Chance, and this is book number 2 in the Charleston Pirates series. As the quarterback for the Charleston Pirates, the current Super Bowl champs, I lead a blessed life. Between my salary and my endorsements, I have more money than I could ever spend. But when the sale of my old home doesn't line up with the closing on my new one, I'm forced to take up residency in a friend's empty house. Except it's not empty. Kendra, the woman of my dreams, my best friend's tempting little sister, is here to take is here taking up more space than just the rooms in this house. She's in my head and under my skin. The only problem is she's hell-bent on resisting me, and I'm determined to make her surrender. I didn't achieve everything I have without hard work and focus, and that's the way I'll win Kendra over. No matter how hard she tries not to, she'll be kissing this quarterback in no time. All right, let's draw a color card. Very limited on the color options for this one, but that is okay. All right, let's do one more shuffle round. And we're just going to go with this top one here. So number 142, and that is not on the cover, so I need to add another book. Yeah, not on the cover. Okay. Let me see what I can find. Or, let's see. I don't need to do that right yet. That's right. Okay, we'll see what my next roll gives, and then see if whatever I get for the prompt fulfills this. So yeah, okay, so just setting this one to the side. It's when it's the punishment book, if I did that for the last one. So, okay, I'm going to hold on to this one. The punishment book is a whole different beast. Okay, Kissing the Quarterback is my selection. I decided to go ahead and pick a book to fulfill this one, because eventually I'm going to have to add a book anyway. So, I'm going with this one, which is episode 13, and it's definitely in the shading within the lighting of the window. And this is written by Craig DeLuey. Another thick book, but that is okay. It says, Fade to Black is the newest hit ghost hunting reality TV show, led by husband and wife team Matt and Claire Kirkland. It features a dedicated crew of ghost hunting experts. Episode 13 takes them to every ghost hunter's holy grail, the Paranormal Research Foundation. This crumbling, derelict mansion holds secrets and clues about bizarre experiments that took place there in the 1970s. It's also undoubtedly haunted, and Matt hopes to use scientific techniques and high-tech gear to prove it. But as the house begins to slowly reveal itself to the crew, proof of an afterlife might not be everything Matt dreamed of. And that run was for, inspired by current read, The Cute Face was a double roll. So we're now up to 7 prompts for my game, and we got to add another book for this TBR. Okay. Let's go this one. Choose a book from the top of your bookshelf. Okay. I have books on the floor in here, but that's not a bookshelf. So let me run up to my bedroom and see what I've got. But let me go ahead and draw a color card before I run up to do that and see if the one that's on the top of my bookshelf, I have 2 bookshelves in my room, so I've got 2 top of my shelves, and then we'll see if any of these books can fulfill that, or if I am going to have to split it. And this is the color to go with, Rainy Day, number 135304. So I'll go in my bedroom and see what I can find. I just realized I told you the wrong prompt, but it's correct. I just gave the name of the prompt wrong. So the actual prompt that I landed on was Current Read, and that is a book based off of what I was currently reading. No. Yes. It was called Current Read. Oh my gosh. Not Cute Face. No. Okay. That's completely different. Okay. So we're back onto the punishment. Just had to make that little correction. Anyway. So the TBR card punishment prompt was choose a book from the top of your bookshelf. And then I drew a card, Rainy Day, number 13-5304. So I could try to combine these, which I actually was able to. So the book I'm going with is The Ritual by Adam Neville. This is in the shading of the skull there. Looks like it to me. And this was on the top of my bookcase. It says, when 4 old university friends set off into the Scandinavian wilderness of the Arctic City, they aim to briefly escape the problems of their lives and reconnect with one another. But when Luke, the only man still single and living a precarious existence, finds he has little left in common with his well-heeled friends, tensions rise. With limited experience between them, a shortcut meant to ease their hike turns into a nightmare scenario that could cost them their lives. Lost, hungry, and surrounded by a forest untouched for millennia, Luke figures things couldn't possibly get any worse. But then they stumble across a derelict building. Ancient artifacts decorate the walls, and there are bones scattered upon the dry floors. The residue of old rites and pagan sacrifice for something that still exists in the forest. Something responsible for the bestial presence that follows their every step. As the four friends stagger in the direction of salvation, they learn that death doesn't come easy among these ancient trees. Okay, roll number 5. These purple dice are out to get me. Okay, they're taking it easy now. So a 6 and a 1, moving 7 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cute face. And now we are on the cute face. Yes, I actually did get this prompt. Okay, cute face. This is a pet pick, so I'm not sure who I have around me. Let me go find someone. I'm going to pick 3 books, and I'm going to see. Sounds like someone's using the litter box, so hopefully I'll be able to give her a treat. So give me 1 second. I'm going to pick 3 books. Okay, I just grabbed 3 books that were the top of the pile. I have The Turn of the Screw by Henry James, Pretty Little Mistake by Michaela Schmeltzer, and The Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. So I'm going to find who's in the other room and put a treat on these and see which one. Sounds like Molly or Polly. So give me 1 second. I'll get a treat on these and then we'll go from there. Molly, please excuse the mess. One of them dumped over my shredder there and they've had a party. So they're both down here. Let me see who I can get. Molly, Polly, Polly, Molly. Okay, here's one. Molly, pick a book. Do you smell the treats? Good girl. Good girl. Here. Have that one. And that one too. Got 3 different books. Polly, here, look. Hey, there's treats here. Let Polly eat it. Let Polly eat it. Okay, go ahead, Polly. Torn it is. So they were both down here. Now, let's go ahead and pick one color card. So okay, all right. Bottle green, number 175722. So Molly picked first, and I ended up doing 2 books for this one because they were both down here. If it was just one, I'd be the one, do the one. So Molly's pick was The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. By the comforts of a blazing fireplace on a cold Christmas Eve night, guests at a holiday party share stories of phantoms and ghosts of Christmases past. Yet one guest delivers a tale of sheer fright for which no one listening was prepared. As the story goes, after losing both parents, a young boy and a girl move into a large wooded estate to be held under the care of their uncle. Wanting nothing to do with raising the children, the uncle hires a young governess to attend to their care. Yet the governess never could have anticipated the horrors that await her discovery. When it becomes evident that the children have some supernatural connection with the deceased former governess and her lover, the young governess finds herself scrambling to regain control of the 2 children slipping away from her grasp. So, The Turn of the Screw by Henry James was Molly's pick. So as you can see, this bottle green is nowhere on this cover. So, well, then Polly came in. I got Polly to come in too. And because I just can't give Molly a treat without giving Polly one. So I put them on 3 different books. You will have seen in the previous clip. And will hopefully have seen, I was struggling with getting Georgie not to eat the treats. To take him away from Polly. So, but Polly ended up picking Torn by Karen Cole. When I was 5 years old, I told Tor and Grace we were going to get married someday. He'd been my closest friend, my protector, my rock since the day I was born. But during my senior year, our relationship slowly changed. Oh, they're playing tag now. It's cute. Anyway, okay, everything changed. While that kiss was all I'd ever dreamed of, it knocked Tor clear off his axis. His strong moral compass makes it impossible for him to accept our feelings for each other, because not only am I 18 and 15 years younger than him, I'm the one person he should never, ever want. Tor is my father's best friend, my pseudo-uncle. Neither one of us can stand to betray or hurt my dad, but we can't keep our relationship hidden forever. Will there be a way for us to find our happily ever after, or will we all be torn apart? And as you can see, this bottle green is not on this cover either. So the book I am going to go with that will fulfill this is a chunker, but again, if I don't get to it, that's fine. There's different greens in this tree here, and it definitely looks like, she's playing with a sack. It definitely looks like it is in there. So this is Last Days by Adam Neville. Oh, The Ritual, the one that's right here, is by the same author. Okay, so I've got two books from the same author. When guerrilla documentary maker Kyle Freeman is asked to shoot a film on the notorious cult known as the Temple of Last Days, it appears his prayers have been answered. The cult became a worldwide phenomenon in 1975 when there was a massacre including the death of its infamous leader, Sister Catherine. Kyle's brief is to explore the paranormal myths surrounding an organization that became a testament to paranoia, murderous rage, and occult rituals. The shoot's locations take him to the cult's first temple in London, an abandoned farm in France, and a derelict copper mine in the Arizonian desert, where the Temple of the Last Days met its bloody end. But when he interviews those involved in the case, those who haven't broken silence in decades, a series of uncanny events plague the shoots. Troubling out-of-body experiences, nocturnal visitations, the sudden demise of their interviewees, and the discovery of ghastly artifacts make Kyle question what exactly it is the cult has awoken, as well as its interest in him. Okay, rule number 6, because of the first double. Okay, moving 7, so I've got a 5 and a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, experiment. Okay, the last prompt is experiment. So, I have my TBR jar here. An experiment is a random generator, so I have a bunch of different random generators in this jar. But before I draw, let's go ahead and do the color draw, and then I'll see if I can combine these ones. Because this one's going to take a little more mind bending, so to speak. Okay, let's just go with this one. Tangerine, 151247. Okay, so tangerine is the color. Now, random generator. Let's see. We're going to go with this one. Random word. Okay, so this goes back in my jar. Now I'm going to pull up a random word generator. So, here we go, random word generator, just so you can see it's loading and I'm not going to be cheating on any words. Okay, still loading. There it is. Okay, so pardon is the word that came up. So let's generate and find out the word I'm going to base this book off of. Whoop, there we go. Disco. Okay. I want it to fit this tangerine. Okay, I'm going to have to do some digging, and I need to figure out, I could go with a sparkly cover. When was the disco popular? Was that the 60s? Google. Disco. Something, I know that it's a dance. It's a music genre, so something, because it's a music genre, I could go with something that has music as its theme or its main plot theme. And it is from the late 1960s, so I could do something set in the 1960s. Okay, I've got to do some digging, so give me a moment. They knocked stuff over again. Boy, they're on one today. I'll be right back. Okay, so I did have to split these. So for disco, I'm going with music because it is a music genre. So I'm going with Devious Obsession by S. Massery. I'm just putting a bunch of thick books on. Why not? If you want to stay, you have to play the game. Steele O'Brien is everything I hate in hockey players. He's cocky, brooding, antagonistic. I played his game, learned his secrets, but that was before I found out he's my new stepbrother. Now we're at college together. I can't escape him or his demons. It seems that for him, the game isn't over. He says I'm his to play with, his to torment, and he's determined to not only get under my skin, but carve his name into it. And the reason why I say this one fits is there's some music here, and so music is obviously going to be playing a role in this. And then there's, at the start of each chapter, it is what their profession is or what they are interested in or something. So for the male character, Steele, hockey boots. And then for the main female lead, her name is Aspen, and we've got a piano keyboard there. So music is involved. So that's what I'm going with for disco. Now, for the color tangerine, I'm going to go with this one, Flock. So it's in the shading along here, kind of in between those two colors. But it does look like it is there. This is written by Kate Stewart. Can you keep a secret? The one thing Cecilia Horner knows about her move to Triple Falls is it'll be temporary. After 1 year working for her elusive father at his factory, he'll hand over the inheritance she needs to help her single mother. With that, Cecilia will leave the town and everyone in it behind forever. On her first day, she collides with her new supervisor, Sean. Enigmatic, charming, irresistible, Sean lures Cecilia into a new world of sex, lies, and alliances. Determined to make the most of her time in Triple Falls, Cecilia allows herself to blindly fall. But the more Cecilia is drawn in, the stronger her belief becomes that Sean is keeping a secret. A secret that Dominic, Sean's best friend, and the darkest, most dangerous member of his crew is determined to keep Cecilia from uncovering. Cecilia discovers something else, a maelstrom of untapped desires within herself, along with a powerful pull of first love. The more Cecilia becomes immersed in Sean and Dominic's perilous world, the more she starts to realize that the men she's trusted are hiding far more than she could have ever imagined. And the secret they're hiding just might be the thing to break her fall. So, Flock. How many books am I at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. These are starting to turn. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. There is no way. And we still have another prompt to go. Okay, and then what might be the last roll? And it is. Okay, so I've got a 1 and a 2. So moving 3 spots. So 1, 2, 3, and it's YouTube. Got another YouTube. There is definitely no way I'm finishing these. Okay, so we're going to draw another YouTuber that has or a booktuber that has a TBR game. And I ended up putting Whitney back in here, so she may pop up again. If she does, I'll put her back in because if she comes up again, I want it to be in the next month rather than twice in the same month. So let's go with this one. Krys from Krys's Corner. This is her Phase 10 game. So it is a different booktuber. Let me see. I'm going to put her back in. I'm going to put them back in. They, them pronouns. I completely forgot. I apologize, Krys. If you happen to see this, I am sorry. Okay, Krys's Corner. I love their TBR game. And they also do a readathon based off of their TBR game. Okay, so this is Phase 10. And I don't know when the next round is. So, okay, Krys is going back in here. And that was the last prompt, so no booktubers coming up again. Now, let me go to my YouTube and subscriptions, and let's go to Krys's Corner. Okay, so for whatever reason, and I have heard that YouTube does this, this is the first time I've personally experienced this, I would not unsubscribe from Krys, but evidently I got unsubscribed somehow, but I've resubscribed. I don't know what happened, so that's why I haven't seen anything pop up. So, I've resubscribed. Let's see, so we've got the reading vlog, another reading vlog. Okay, so there is, oh sweet. Okay, so November there is a readathon. And, okay, reading vlog, book haul, reading vlog, TBR game, phase 10. Okay, so this will be based off of their October TBR, phase 10 TBR game. So I'm going to watch this video, see what prompts Krys was able to get, and then I will pick books based off of the prompts that they got, and then I'll also pick the colors, one color for each prompt. Yeah. So I'll watch this video and then I will be right back. Again, I am sorry I used the wrong pronouns. I do apologize for that. I knew that. And oh, I just screwed up and I am sorry about that. Okay, I'm gonna watch this and I will be right back. Okay, well, 14 books I will be adding. So that means I'm at 43 books, right? Yeah, that's 43 books. But that's, you know, there's no penalty for never finishing the TBR again. I can't say that enough. So 3 of the prompts aren't actual prompts. This is just something that Krys does during their game. And they draw out of like this bucket or jar series. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to do that too because I have some series to finish. So Krys drew out 3. So I'm going with 3. So now I'm going to do things just a little bit differently. Krys drew out papers and it had the name of the title or the name of the series and the author. I have picked out that I have in my office 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books. Now I'm going to take down 2 of them because you'll see why. Okay, so I'm going to roll a dice and we're just going to go with my black and yellow, just the regular dice, so it's just a little easier to see. And I'm getting all this other dice out of the way. I just need 1. So, and I'm just going to go in order that I have this stack. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So number 1 is going to be A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy. Number 2 is Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. Number 3 will be The Princess Potential by Delamock. Now this one's more considered a standalone, but it does follow the events of a series, so I am counting it. So it's like 20 years later out of the series. Then we have The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin, Snaring Emberly by Gigi Six, and Reached by Ali Condi. And if I get Reached, it'll finish that series for me. So, okay. Number 5, as you can see right here. So, number 5. Okay, so that means it is... Oh, I picked up an extra book. Oh, it's this chunker of a book, Snaring Emberly, but I am excited. It is very dark, okay? So let me take these 4 off, and we're going with Snaring Emberly by Gigi Sticks. So we have 2 POVs. Underneath Emberly, it says, when an abusive ex corners me in a nightclub, I cling to the first man I see for protection. Little do I know he's a mafia don, fresh out of prison and eager for a one-night stand. One night extends into 2, then 3. I'm beginning to suspect I can't leave. But every time I raise questions, he always answers with offers impossible to resist. Sometimes it's hard to tell if I'm just paranoid or a pawn in a much larger game. Okay. You know what? Let me go ahead and draw the cards and then we'll see what will fit. So I've got 14 book prompts So we're going to draw 14 colors. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Okay, so we'll put these cards away. Let me do that while I am thinking about it, just so that it's out of the way and I don't knock them over and make a huge mess, because my office is already a mess from the kitties playing. Okay, so black, red, grays. I have a pinky purple, a peach pearl, a blue, a seafoam green, a dark purple, a blossom, this might work, whisper pink, I'm going to set that one to the side, desert stand, winter wheat, I have this green color, a faded denim, a celestial, and then a pastel pink and a pastel blue. The only color that is possible is this whisper pink, although it looks more gray, doesn't look pink, and that's only if it's in the skull, which it is not. So, okay. Okay, that's already adding another book, which, again, perfectly fine. Okay, now I can read the synopsis. Okay, I can continue on with the synopsis. It says, let me just start over. When an abusive ex corners me in a nightclub, I cling to the first man I see for protection. Little do I know, he's a mafia don, fresh out of prison and eager for a one-night stand. One night extends into 2, then 3. I'm beginning to suspect I can't leave. But every time I raise questions, he answers with offers impossible to resist. Sometimes it's hard to tell him if I'm just paranoid or a pawn in a much larger game. And then underneath Roman it says, when a man gets jailed for a crime he didn't commit, the first thing he wants after leaving death row is vengeance. The bastard who framed me stole my fortune and bequeathed it to his daughter, Emberly. My plan is simple. Seduce her, force her to give back what's mine, then put a bullet through her skull. But one taste of her gets me obsessed and my plans turn to dust. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to add, I'm just going to go with this top one. I'm adding Earthsea, The Tombs of Ottawan by Ursula K. Le Guin onto this stack. So books that were 1 through 4 have dropped down, and we've added that one. So now we're doing another dice roll to see what book I will be reading for Krys's TBR Jar of Doom number 2. And number 2 it is. So that... Oh, it's another big, thick book. Okay. Okay. A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy. All right, this one says, Wren Beaumont is many things. Beautiful, smart, sweet, innocent. At Lancaster Prep, the girls love her. They all want to be her friend. Only I see Wren for who she really is. A repressed little virgin who keeps her feelings locked up so tight, she's probably close to bursting. She thinks she's above us all, even me. I shouldn't be drawn to her. She's not my type. Until we are forced to work together in class and realize we might have more things in common than we originally thought. Soon enough, I find myself completely obsessed. I will do anything for this girl to make her fall in love with me. Anything. And this is book number 2 in the Lancaster Prep, I think is what it is called, series. But, oh, there's a playlist. Sweet. Okay. And this has over 500 pages. So, okay. Now, are any of these on there? The Whisper Pink is a no. No. Nope, because it's a dark, more bold or neon type pink. There's no blue, so we'll pass these blues. There's no greens, no wheats or browns. Okay, here's a pink, but again, it's more, oh wait, no. There are purples. Okay, this one might work. I need to set that to the side. There's definitely no greens, no blues, no peaches, and this pastel pink won't work. Okay, so this one's the only one. And yes, okay, so there are some purple lips, and there's one, it's hard to see on camera, but that purple lipstick looks pretty good. So I'm going to use this one for, so purple number 5125, I'm going to say it's in the purple lipstick mark that's on this one. Okay, now we need to add another one for Krys's third TBR jar series of Doom, whatever. TBR jar of Doom is what they called it. Okay, so everything's just moved down, and I have adding Torn by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So that one's now number 1, and then it just continues. Okay. All right. Number 2 again, which I am not mad about that one, because I've got some really chunky books on my TBR. Now I'm going to get the dice out of the way. I've got some really chunky books on my TBR, so it's nice to get this one on there, which is short. The actual book is 179 pages, it looks like. So less than 200 pages, I'm good with that. Okay, let's see. I know there's no pinks, there's no blues, no purples. No on the peach. So those ones, okay, let's look at these 3 colors. So these are the only 3 that there's any chance of being on this cover. Definitely not this Whisper Pink. Winter Wheat. Doesn't look like it to me. Desert Sand. I am going to say yes. So this bracelet, or whatever the heck it is broken. But some of where the shading is on the lighter parts, it does look like that is specifically along the edge over here. It does look like that color is there. So I am going to count it because to my naked eye, it does look like it. So I'm going to go with it. Now I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to put these series away because some of these I could probably use to fulfill another prompt or 2. So back to this one. So this is Earthsea, The Tombs of Ottawan. This is book number 2 in the Earthsea series. When Tenor is chosen as High Priestess to the ancient and nameless powers of the earth, everything is taken away from her. Home, family, possessions, even her name. She is now known only as Ara, the Eaten One. Okay. And she guards the shadowy labyrinth tombs of Ottawan. Then a wizard, Ged Sparrowhawk, comes to steal the tomb's greatest treasure, the Ring of Aerith Akbi. Tenor's duty is to protect the ring, but Jed possesses the light of the magic and tales of a world that Tenor has never known. Will Tenor risk everything to escape the darkness that has become her domain? Okay. Okay, so the next official prompt that Krys got, so this is now the official game. They're now playing their game. So the first official prompt is fantasy, and I am going to go with the book for my series stack because I really want to get back into this world. I'm going to go with The Princess of Potential. This is book number 4 in the House Witch series. Now the House Witch technically is a trilogy. This, according to Goodreads, is book number 4 in that series, but this takes place 20 years after the events of the final book in that trilogy. So, The Princess of Potential by Delamock. I love this world. And this is a fantasy. It has been 20 years since Finley Ashowen, the fabled house witch of Dexaria, first cooked up supernatural hijinks in the castle of Ostis. Since then, much has changed. The royal family now resides elsewhere. A tentative peace has been established with Travak, and the crown princess Ilona is ready to pick the perfect nobleman to be her husband. But Ilona's quest for her ideal consort is proving rather difficult. For one, between her father's nerves and her own health issues, relations between the family are tense at best. For another, Finn and his wife Annika have returned to the castle to celebrate Ilona's momentous choice, bringing with them their fiery daughter Katerina, mysterious son Tamlin, and mischievous familiar Kraken, all of whom have a penchant for finding trouble that somehow surpasses that of the house witch himself. And finally, the most politically promising suitor, the King of Travak, is nothing less than completely intolerable. Now, Ilona must manage filial expectations, flirtatious miscues, magical misadventures, and dangerous plots, all as she struggles to find her own place within her kingdom and understand the blossoming desires of her own heart. Okay, now I'm going to go through the colors I have remaining. I have quite a few options, so I'm hoping that something here is on this cover. I'm going to go with the color Whisper Pink on that, and that is because there are sheets of music here, and specifically where it is, it's harder to see, but it does look like this is on the sheet music, especially the one that's more in the shade here, so I'm going with that. So, yay. All right, the next prompt that Krys got was hardcover. So I'm going to go with this one. Mastering the Art of French Murder by Colleen Cambridge. I love the stenciled edge there. As Paris rediscovers its joie de vivre, I don't know. Tabitha Knight recently arrived from Detroit for an extended stay with her French grandfather, is on her own journey of self-discovery. Paris isn't just the city of light, it's a city of history, romance, stunning architecture, and food. Thanks to her neighbor and friend Julia Child, another expat who's fallen head over heels for Paris, Tabitha is learning how to cook for her Grand-Pierre and Uncle Rafe. Between tutoring Americans in French, visiting the market, and eagerly sampling the results of Julia's studies at Le Cordon Bleu cooking school, Tabitha's sojourn is proving thoroughly delightful. That is, until the cold December day they return to Julia's building and learn that a body has been found in the cellar. Tabitha recognizes the victim as a woman she'd met only the night before at a party given by Julia's sister Dort. The murder weapon found nearby is recognizable too, a knife from Julia's kitchen. Tabitha is eager to help the investigation, but is shocked when Inspector Merville reveals that a note in Tabitha's handwriting was found in the dead woman's pocket. Is this murder a case of international intrigue or something far more personal? So, okay, let me see if any of the colors match this. I don't know. That one's a no, that's a no, that's a no, that's a no, that's a no. That's definitely a no, that's a no, 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 and no. Nope, no colors match, so adding another book. Okay, I found a gifted book. This is one I entered a contest and I won it, but it's still gifted because it's gifted from the author. The Blandford Fly and Other Tales by D.N. Moore. And this is actually personalized. Thanks for reading, Christine. D.N. So this is what I'm going to go with, and I don't know what it's about because there is no synopsis on the back. So copyright 2023, The Blandford Fly and Other Tales. So it just looks like it's a collection of short stories possibly. But yeah, this is what I'm going to go with. All right, let me see if any of these colors happen to appear. Okay, I'm going to go with number 691, and I'm going to go with it in the hand here. Yeah, it looks pretty close, so that's what I'm going to go with. All right. Okay, so the next prompt that Krys got was old favorite author, R.L. Stine, the Fear Street books. So I'm going to go with Runaway. This is one I did want to get to in October, but I'm okay pushing this one into November. So I've pulled a couple of books from my October stack that I hope to get on for this month. And they're just going to be coming on until I read them. So anything by R.L. Stine, but this is the one I had on my shelf. So Runaway by R.L. Stine. You can run, but you can't hide. Shady Side. It sounded like such a nice town. The perfect place for a runaway like Felicia. Nobody here would know about her dark powers. Nobody would know what she's done. For once, she could be a normal girl. She could be safe. But then someone in Shady Side discovers Felicia's secret. Someone finds out about the awful things her powers made her do. Felicia doesn't want to run away again, but if she stays, she might lose control, and then people would start to die. I don't think any of these colors are on there, but let me see. There's no blues, no greens. As far as pinks, there is a pink, but it's a very purpley pink, not a pinky or peachy pink. So yeah, no, none of these colors are on there. Okay, moving on. The next prompt that they got was buddy read. Now, the two books that I would be buddy reading are already on here, and that is As Good as Dead, which is the most recent one in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and then the book selection for Autism Reads. So I'm going with an honorary, quote-unquote, book club. I'm not a part of this book club, but Krys hosts a queer lit book club, is what I gathered from their video. And the selection, well, shoot. The selection for October, I just realized I'm doing this in November. I don't have a buddy read, and that's okay. You know, I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to be late with buddy reading. Can't spell treason without T. So this was the selection for the October Queer Lit. So I'm honorarily honoring delayed this one. So you know what, I'm going to go with it because my stacks is getting a lot and I don't want to add too much more and get overwhelmed. So I'm going to go with this one. So yeah, okay. As far as the colors, I do have more options. So I don't see, well, the Celestial might. Let me see if this green might be on here better. Okay, I'm going to go with Peach Pearl on this one. It looks like it's in the floor here. Specifically right here. So I'm going to go with this one. So Can't Spell Treason Without T by Rebecca Thorne. I'm matching Peach Pearl number 141419 to it. And the synopsis reads, all Renya and Keontae want is to open a bookshop that serves tea while firelight drifts between the rafters. But Renya works as one of the queen's private guards, and Keontae is the most powerful mage in existence. Leaving their lives isn't so easy. But after an assassin takes Renya hostage, she decides she's thoroughly done risking her life for a self-centered queen. Meanwhile, Keontae has been waiting for a chance to flee responsibility, all the better that her girlfriend is on board. Together, they settle in Tawny, a town nestled in the icy tundra near Dragon Country, and open the shop of their dreams. What follows is a cozy tale of mishaps, mysteries, and a murderous queen throwing the realm's biggest temper tantrum. Well, these two women discover just what they mean to each other and the world. The next prompt that they got was TBR game. So I'm trying to think how I can do this one. I have my own TBR game. Let's do that. I'm going to grab my fall board. And then we will just do, get a prompt. And let me turn you around. Okay. We are just going to start, you know what? We're going to just put this dice right here on number 9 because I am on prompt number 9. So now, I'm just going to get these out of the way. Okay. We're going to play for another prompt from my game. I don't care about the double. So, moving 4 spots. I'm not worried about the double. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Game time. Oh, crap. What's game time? Okay, game time. Right here, game time. Animal or a pet on the cover. Okay, I can do that. So I'm going to pull in this one. 5 Furry Familiars. This was on my October TBR. I'm just not going to get to it in October. So hopefully in November. There are 3 kittens, an adult cat, which is the familiar and pet of Mia, and then there's a dog who turns out to be a pet from someone else. So, I'm saying that this one works. Okay, whoo-hoo, I'm glad I got that to work. Okay, 5 Furry Familiars by Lynn Cahoon. To keep her cooking school and catering business, Mia's morsels afloat, Mia's handed off oversight to her boyfriend, Trent's mother, while she focuses on earning a steady paycheck. Too bad her mean-spirited boss at the lodge keeps the misery flowing as steadily as the money. At least her roommate, Christina, is still dedicated to Mia's morsels, though she's also distracted, thanks to her clingy mother's constant demands. And the distraction only grows when Christina's old flame shows up in Magic Springs, Idaho, in his Escalade, claiming out of the blue to be her fiancé. The arrival of some homeless kittens, as well as Trent's new familiar, a cute little Maltese. So there's the Maltese, so that's going to be Trent's pet. Let's see, brings more chaos, as well as a strange spiritual energy that seems to emanate from the animals. But before Mia can figure out what kind of paranormal pets she has on her hands, she finds herself with a murder to solve, when a dead body is found in the lodge rental of Christina's suddenly attentive ex. Okay, I'm going to go with this one, and let's see if any of these colors are on here. I'm saying this faded denim is here in the flooring. So, especially closer to the rug and the Maltese it gets. Yeah, so I'm going with that. Okay, I'm going to go, so this one you've already seen. So this is a duet, and book number 1 in this I did read in September, which was Circus Creeps. Yeah, Circus Creeps. So the duet is called Sinner's Sideshow. This is extremely spicy, so just be aware of that. Book 2 I will not be getting to in October, but maybe I can get to it in November. So book number 2 is called Carnival Creeps by Aiden Pierce. So that's what I'm going to go with. And I do say this has LGBT rep because the first one, it had men having sex with men and women. And plus, there's a note here. It says, everyone in this book is a bisexual slut. So this goes to all the bisexual sluts. So that's the dedication. So a bunch of bisexual individuals in this. So that's LGBT, and that's what I'm going to go with. So hopefully I can actually get to this and finish this duet in November. That would be good. Now, let's see if any of these colors are on here. Okay. I'm going to say this 535 is. So it looks pretty close to me. Depending on how high up in the shading or down in the shading that you go, it does look like that's there. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with book number 2 in this. So again, that is, I forgot the name of it. Carnival Creeps, because it was Circus Creeps. Was it Carnival Creeps? Yep, Carnival Creeps. Now, this one, so there's no synopsis on the back, but I am going to tell you, it says this book contains triggering situations to gore, violence, explicit, sexual scenes, things like that. That's just a few of them. This one, we are following Meg, aka she's sometimes called Megra. She is a succubus, or a half succubus, I should say. Her mother is a full-blooded succubus. Her father is a human. She finds this way to Sinner's Sideshow. She grew up in a human circus. Sinner's Sideshow is basically for all the demons in the world. And she wants to get a place at this circus in the first book and makes a deal with the devil. And it goes from there. And there's a lot of sex. You also have incubi in this as well. So male sex demons. Succubus is a female sex demon. So there's a lot of sex. Yeah. How many times can I say sex in this part? But yeah, so LGBT rep going for book number 2 in this duet, Carnival Creeps. Okay, the next prompt that they got was dark cover. I'm going to go with this one, Birthday Kisses. It's a novella, nice and short. I know I'm going to have to add several books, so it's not like it's really going to make much of a difference. But this particular novella is 59 pages. Yep, 59 pages. Birthday Kisses by Monica Murphy. 'Tis the season and things are a little stressful for our fave couple. There's a lot going on in their lives and Ren is feeling out of sorts. Crew just wants his girl happy, so when an unexpected Scrooge, aka his big brother Grant, reaches out with an offer they can't refuse, Crew and Ren realize they can actually enjoy some alone time together right before the holiday and Ren's birthday. And yeah, none of these colors are on there, so I'm just going to go with this one. Now, I do need to keep in mind, I cannot read this one until I read A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, because this novella follows that one. So I just need to remember that. Okay, the next prompt that Krys got on their game was Cozy Mystery. Well, I already have 5 furry familiars, so I'm going to put the next one. So 6 Stunning Sirens by Lynn Cahoon. In a triumph for Mia's catering business and cooking school, Mia's Morsels has chosen to host a fall festival event in their Idaho mountain town, which means managing a bunch of stage moms and their social media obsessed daughters as they get ready for the big beauty contest. There's a lot riding on the results of the Harvest Moon Festival. It's where the winning family receives an inside track to Coven power. But after one stage mom is found dead and another winds up in the hospital, the coven suspects magical meddling. With a week to go before the coronation of the new queen, Mia must draw her sleuthing powers to find out what's going on and whether this competition has got a little too cutthroat. Let's see if any of these are on here. I'm going to go with Winter Wheat. It looks like it's in this Maltese here, specifically on the head of the dog. So I'm going to go with that, Winter Wheat. Okay, the next prompt I'm kind of stuck on. And that is... Actually, let me see really quick, because I do know the next prompt after that. And that one doesn't fulfill that prompt. I'm trying to see if any of these I can move to the next prompt. Nope. And yes. Okay. This one I can. Yeah, I'll move this one to the next prompt, I think. Yeah, I will. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm stuck on two. Torn between two books. Both of which are fantasies. So I could do, and they're both the sequel, so that is the prompt that Krys got. So I can do Torn by Jennifer L. Armentrout, or I can do The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin. Book number 2 in the Wicked trilogy, or book number 2 of The Broken Earth. You know what? Let's roll a dice. Why not? Why the heck not? Okay. If I get an even number, I'll go with the one that's on the bottom because 1, 2. So we'll go with Torn by Jennifer L. Armentrout. If I get an odd number, so this one would represent 1, 3, and 5. So 2, 4, and 6 will be the bottom. 1, 3, and 5 will be the Obelisk Gate. Okay. All right. Why not? And it's a 4, which it's the bottom. So Wicked trilogy, book number 2. Torn by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Okay, this one says, if I can read it. Torn between duty and survival, nothing can be the same. Everything Ivy Morgan thought she knew has been turned on its head. After being betrayed and then nearly killed by the Prince of the Fae, she's left bruised and devastated, and with an earth-shattering secret that she must keep at all costs, and if the Order finds out her secret, they'll kill her. Then there's Ren Owens, the sexy tattooed elite member of the Order who has been sharing Ivy's bed and claiming her heart. Their chemistry is smoking hot, but Ivy knows that Ren has always valued his duty to the Order above all else. He could never touch her if he knew the truth. That is, if he let her live at all. Yet, how can she live with herself if she lies to him? But as the Fae Prince begins to close in, intent on permanently opening the gates to the other world, Ivy is running out of options. If she doesn't figure out who she can trust and fast, it's not only her heart that will be torn apart, but civilization itself. Okay, I can probably still get this one on there. I'm going to have to get some more books on there because I still have several color cards I don't have books for yet. So let's see if any of the cards are on here. Probably, maybe the Seafoam one. No, yes, no. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with this Seafoam Green in the title. Yeah, so I'm saying the title is the Seafoam Green. It looks pretty spot on to the naked eye, so yep, that's what I'm going with. Okay. The last prompt that Krys got on their game is basically a big book. So a book that is over 500 pages. So for this one, going with number 2 in, I forgot the name of the series, Boys of Tommen. I do know this takes place in Ireland. Oh, and it says it right there, Boys of Tommen number 2. This is Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. Johnny Kavanagh's first, last, and only true love has always been rugby, until now. Following a devastating injury that has left him stripped of his beloved number 13 jersey, Johnny struggles to hold onto his dreams as they crumble around him. Lost and desperate, he sets his sights on unraveling the mystery of the girl with the midnight blue eyes, who haunts his every waking hour, Shannon Lynch. But navigating the future, even together, isn't as easy as it once seemed. Keeping secrets has never been a problem for Shannon. The life she was born into demands nothing less. Trigger for domestic abuse. Child abuse. as well. Let's see. After all, demons and evil men don't just exist in fairy tales. They exist in her world too. Traumatized beyond repair after her return from Dublin and desperate to protect her little brothers, Shannon finds herself struggling like never before, barely keeping her head above water. Her walls are up and her trust is shaken, and only one boy has the ability to reach her heart. But when new truths come to light and old wounds are reopened, will love be enough to help them heal, or is their future forever broken? And these pages are thin, so not quite like Bible page thin, but maybe but pretty thin. 500, 600, and 42, 41. So there's a playlist in the back, and oh, here we go. Okay, so the next one is, so these pages are part of the next in the series. 641 pages. So this is definitely over 500 pages. Okay, now let's see if any of these colors are on here. There's no blues and no greens, so I can immediately get rid of 3 of these cards. And yeah, no, these aren't on there either. Okay. Okay, well, I'm not done yet because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 color cards I was not able to get books for. So this is going to take my total of books for the month to pick from. Again, I don't have to read them all, to 49, I think. So yeah, I'm going to find some books that fit, that have one of these colors on there somewhere. And as soon as I have those, I'll be back. And I've got to charge my camera for a little bit too, because I know that battery light's going to be flashing any minute now. So yeah, I will be back as soon as I have these and the camera has charged for a little bit. Okay, so I finally found the books. So that's 4 additional books. So for this color, 7720, I'm going to go with War. It looks like it's down in the sheath of the sword there. But yeah, looks like it's there. So this is book number 2 in the 4 Horsemen series, written by Laura Thalassa. The day Jerusalem falls to the horsemen, Miriam Elmedy knows her life is over. Houses are burning, the streets run red with blood, and a traitorous army is massacring her people. There is no surviving this, especially not once Miriam catches the eye of War himself. But when the massive and terrifying horseman corners Miriam, he calls her his heaven-sent wife, and instead of killing her, he takes her back to his camp. Now, Miriam faces a terrifying future, helplessly watching the world burn town by town, and the one responsible for it is her seemingly indestructible husband, who refuses to let her go. But there's another side to him, one that's gentle and loving and set on winning her over, and she might not be strong enough to resist. However, if there's one thing Miriam has learned, it's that love and war cannot coexist. She must make the ultimate choice, surrender to War and watch humankind fall, or sacrifice everything to stop him. Okay, so for the color Celestial, number 184530, it looks like it's on this book. Specifically in like the A and the N, maybe a little bit in the D, yeah, there. So in the letters of the Earth or the world or the planet, whatever planet it is, maybe Earth, I don't know. Could be something else. But this is The Andromeda Strain by Michael Crichton, author of Jurassic Park. A military space probe sent to collect extraterrestrial organisms is knocked out of orbit and falls to Earth. 12 miles from the crash site, an inexplicable phenomenon contaminates the residents of a sleepy desert town in Arizona, leaving only 2 survivors, an elderly addict and a newborn infant. The U.S. government is forced to mobilize Project Wildfire, a top-secret emergency response protocol. 4 of the nation's most elite biophysicists are summoned to a clandestine underground laboratory located 5 stories beneath the desert and fitted with an atomic self-destruct mechanism in the event of irredeemable contamination. Under the conditions of total news blackout, the scientists race to understand and contain the crisis. But the Andromeda strain proves different from anything they've ever seen, and what they don't know could not only hurt them, but lead to unprecedented worldwide catastrophe. And this one's a little shorter. It's less than 300 pages. It is more than 250. The epilogue ends on page 291. So the book I'm going to go with for Blossom is Finding Mr. Perfect by Cody Gray. In the cupcake wrappers right here. So is where it looks like. And I've read one book from this author and really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to continuing on. Charity Simmons may have a great taste in friends, felines, and fruit tarts, but if there's one thing the baker and co-owner of Meow and Forever Cat Cafe knows, it's that she has horrible taste in men. Case in point, Will Schwartz. He may be the best friend of her best friend's boyfriend, but after their one night together, Charity is positive Will's nothing but a womanizing charmer, despite his nice guy persona and adorable crooked smile. So why then did she pick him to pretend date to get her parents off her back about being single? Will Schwartz may give relationships a hard pass, but he's not about to say no to fake dating Charity. She's brilliant, hilarious, and, best of all, she'll put an end to his mother's interrogations about his love life. And maybe, after all this time, giving him the cold shoulder, Charity will finally warm up to him. But it's not long before Will and Charity realize they got much more than they bargained for, and they're freaking out. What if what they have isn't make-believe, but the real, forever kind of love? This sounds so cute. All right, and the last color is this really pretty pastel blue, number 656, and I'm saying it goes with this book, Exquisite Prey by T. Ray. Kind of rhymes. Okay, definitely in the lighting here. Okay, this is book number 1 in the Dark Blood Clan series. And I just thought I saw something. Hang on. Oh, the start of each chapter is kind of broken up like that. That's what I'm seeing. Okay. Let's see. There's no escape when you become his prey. 20-year-old Evine lives a charmed life in New York with her best friend Jacob and boyfriend Gage. On the precipice of graduating from college, she's ready to start her exciting new career in a world full of opportunities and can't wait to live her dreams. A single rose changed everything. In a blink of an eye, Evine's dreams turn into nightmares, and she's tangled in a web of terror and destruction as a ruthless predator bent on having her, no matter the cost, rips her perfect world apart and forces her to face her worst fears. Is she strong enough to survive, or will she die trying? So that is it. So out of all those books that you're seeing, there's these 4 additional books here. So that is it. Let me know if you've read any of these books. If there are any readathons that you're participating in November, definitely let me know. I think what I'm going to do is, I know there's 2 readathons in November. I'm only going to write the prompts down. I'll still do a video. If I can think of a book right off that will fulfill the prompt from these, I'll let you know. But otherwise, I'm just going to kind of let myself mood read from the stack of books, these 2 stacks of books that I have here. And then when a book fits the prompt, then I'll slot it in there. So that's my plan for that. Oh, I lied. I've got one more. So there's one more. Sorry, one more. So hold on to that thought. The other one, I'm going to go with the Obelisk Gate, and it fits this one. Just in the various shadings of this pink in here. It's hard to tell on camera, but more so right in there. But yeah, so I have one more book to add to the stack, which is fine. The season of endings grows darker as civilization fades into the long cold night. Eason has found shelter, but not her missing daughter. Instead, there is Alabaster Tenring, destroyer of the world, with a request that would seal the fate of the stillness forever. That's all that one says. Okay, so 5 books. Anyway, yeah, let me know if you've read any of these books or books from any of these authors. All I know of, again, as I said, are 2 readathons. I will look to see if there's any more, and then I'll just slot books in as I read them. I'm just going to let myself mood read out of this stack that I've done and created for my Cat-Walk TBR for November. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I will talk to you later.